Wait, is recording? Oh, okay. I guess I should do my Champions League review then. Um, yeah, the Champions League draw is happening tomorrow, and it's the perfect time to do a quick review, discuss some of the best teams, what are their chances, the dark horses, and a bit about United. Let's start from the top then. I mean, the favorites. I mean, the big teams. You can list them out: Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern. They're always there. Atletico, Juventus have kind of emerged more recently as consistently making it to the final rounds. And then you've got the cash cows, PSG and City, just buying leagues, you know, because no one's business. Um, Out of them, I think the two strongest candidates to win this year are going to be Real Madrid and Juventus. Madrid, they lost CR7, sure, but they still have probably the best squad in the tournament. The defense, you can't come up with a better defense than um, you've got firstly added Courtois at the back, which is a huge upgrade, even though Keylor Navas was great. This is a huge upgrade. Then you've got Carvajal and Marcelo, excellent fullbacks. Sergio Ramos and Varane, again, solid leaders. The best midfield in the tournament, Modric, uh, Casemiro, and Cruz. Perfect balance. Again, Lopetegui probably needs to figure it out. He doesn't really work well with destroyers like Casemiro, and he's crucial though. And I think once he gets him back into form, they can be quite dangerous. And then up top, of course, we've got Bale still there, Benzema still there, Marco Asensio, Lucas Vasquez, excellent, talented players. They said to replace all the goals that CR7 scored for them. That is going to be a huge void. I heard they're rumored to sign Mariano Diaz, who's currently at Lyon, but he's a former academy player, and if he steps in, I mean, he's been pretty good for Lyon this past season, but again, he's filling in Ronaldo's role. Like those are big shoes to fill. But I think apart from this hole that they've got at the top for CR7, um, they've got probably the best squad in the tournament. So I can see them going very far. I mean, another team is Juventus. Um, let's address the elephant in the room. They've got Ronaldo. He is Mr. Champions League. He's gonna score them the goals. He scored, I think 45 goals or something like that in the last 35 games he's played in the Champions League. That's ridiculous. And add to that, other attackers like Dybala and Mandzukic who can assist Ronaldo, like they can support him. They can like Mandzukic can play a Benzema type of role, a hold-up player who brings the others into the game. Dybala is creative, and they've got Douglas Costa out wide, Bernadeschi, both of them extremely talented. And Douglas Costa was amazing in the World Cup this year. I'm sure he's going to kick on and have a great season. Cuadrado is still there as well. And then the midfield's solid too. Pjanic, one of the best dead ball experts in the game, can win games just in a second basically. Khedira, Chan, Matuidi, all solid options. And then they brought Bonucci back. The other BBC's back now. One split up last year, one split up this year, but one of them's reunited. Bonucci and Chiellini are amazing, fantastic defenders, probably the best in the world at what they do. And Juventus look deadly. Just they need to figure out how to replace Buffon because Chesney is just, yeah. I saw him at Arsenal. He got sent to the under 21s. He failed there. I don't know how he's ended up at Juventus, but good on him. It's not. It's probably easier to play behind Bonucci and Chiellini than any other place, but still, I'm not so confident in him. But other than that, so I think Juventus and Madrid, for these reasons, should be the favorites to win the tournament. Now, apart from these big two teams, there are other really good teams who have a strong chance. Of course, like I mentioned, Barcelona, Atletico, they've all strengthened. PSG, Man City, they've all strengthened. But I think it's actually more interesting to think about the dark horses, the ones who aren't that fancied but could end up going all the way. I think the first one is Napoli. Um, they're a team who should have won the Serie A last year. They had enough points to win it most seasons, but they're up against Juventus, who are just dominating the league, and they got a bit unlucky last year to have had such a good season at the same time as Juventus. But they do have the pedigree. They've got great players. They've lost their manager this year, but they're replacing with Ancelotti, who's one of the best, and he's a Champions League expert. Could be interesting to see how they do. They could go pretty far. There's also Roma. They were semi-finalists last year, and they've got some exciting players. They've recycled their midfield. They've really added a bit of steel there. Zonzi is one of the new additions. He was keen for France in the final of the World Cup, and he was great at Sevilla before that as well. So I'm sure he can add a lot. There's obviously Liverpool. They made it to the final last year, but they were exposed there. They got there just by going for attacking football, and sure they leaked goals, but as long as they score more than the opposition, that's what matters. And what makes them dangerous this year is they've actually strengthened at the back. Van Dijk settled into the team, adding more stability. They've replaced the goalkeeper who couldn't. I mean, I don't even want to talk about Karius. It was that bad in the final for him. Um, but they replaced him with Alisson, who's one of the best in the world, and a secret Hemsworth. Um, they should go far. And then, of course, they've strengthened the midfield. They let go of Chan, but replaced him with Fabinho and Naby Keita. Naby Keita has dominated the Bundesliga for 2 years in a row. He's going to add a lot of a spark there. He's a hell of a footballer. And Fabinho is a quality DM. And with them, their midfield is starting to look a bit dangerous now. There's other interesting teams are Monaco. Monaco have got some great players. Yuri Tillman, Golovin. They've got a lot of attacking young players, and they're supported with like some more experienced players like Falcao, who's still there, and having a bit of a comeback of sorts. And they've also got Subasic, who's one of the best goalkeepers of the tournament. So at the World Cup, so they should do well. And then they've got Leonardo Jardim, who's a really good coach. I think he does well with young players, and I think he's suited for the Champions League. He didn't have such a great time last year, but before that, got to semi-finals, beating Man City and all these big teams along the way. They could be dangerous. And finally, there's another French team, Olympique Lyon. They have a scary attack at times. Memphis Depay, the most famous name there, didn't quite work out at Man United, but he's a very skillful player. He's having a bit of resurgence at Lyon, showing the form he had at Eindhoven. He's a dangerous player. Can score goals from nothing. But the thing is, he's not the only one. They've got Mariano Diaz, who's been a really good striker for the past year. Um, Again, I think he might be moving to Madrid, but if he stays, he's obviously going to add some quality up front. And then, of course, World Cup winner Nabil Fekir. He's more of a creative hub, but he can score some great goals too. So they've got a lot of attacking talent. They've got a solid DM in Dombele and, of course, Rafael, man. They've got Rafael. How can you not like a team which has Rafael in it? Man, if only he'd come back to United. And yeah, so that's kind of my overview of the dark horses who could somehow win the tournament, but I say it's unlikely. There's one final dark horse, Man United, and they are a quality. It's a quality. We're a quality side. I mean, you've got world class players all over, but can't quite put them as list them as a team that's going to definitely do well because let's be honest, the start of the season has been dreadful. There was so much negativity in the media. The preseason went terribly, and we've got this conflict of interest between the board and the manager, war of words, kind of some stuff simmering behind the scenes, manipulating the media and all this stuff. And then um, our star player had a bust up with him, and he's not playing to his best. So things can't get worse at the moment. It can only get better. This is a quality side with a lot of attacking power. You got Lukaku and Martial up top, who are Martial's probably going to be the best player in the world one day. He's not quite there yet, but he's showing all the signs. Just needs some game time. Lukaku is a world class forward. He was excellent in the World Cup. He was excellent last season. I don't know what's happened to him for the first few games of the season. He's missed open goals and just been had a really bad time of it. But both of them combined, they can score a heap of goals. Then you've got Rashford, Mata, Sanchez, all excellent players. They can also play a key role and score and get us a lot of goals. But the most important place is our midfield because first of all we got Paul Pogba, World Cup winning Paul Pogba, and he played like a man possessed against Leicester, one of his best performances for United. But then the next two games he was absolutely garbage. I don't know what has happened to him, but he's definitely our key man. He needs to show up. He has to prove that he's the same guy who powered France to the World Cup win, and show some of the same drive and determination. We know he's got it in him, and we've complemented with like an excellent midfield. You got Fred next to him. He's been great in the first few games, still settling in, but he's been great. And we've got Herrera, Pereira, and Matic. Uh, Pereira's been pretty good in the preseason. He had a couple of good games. He didn't have such a good game as Brighton, and I don't know when he's going to be back. But he's the midfield of Pogba, Fred, and Pereira is so important for United because they're positive. They're looking forwards, trying to get the team going. And with them three behind an attacking lineup, that the sort we have can be dangerous for most teams. And finally, you've got Matic, who's just solid. Matic and Herrera, they can fit in any time and do a great job. Our defense is probably the most worrying aspect. We didn't have a left back the whole summer, and then Luke Shaw turned up after 3 years. He's he's been reborn this season. He's been amazing. He's been our best player in every single game he's played, and suddenly our left back problems are gone. I just hope he can continue this way. De Gea is the best in the world. Enough said. No other goalkeeper comes close. It's the other three positions that are a problem. We don't have a good center back. Every center back we have makes a mistake in every single game, and we are leaking goals as a result. There's only so much De Gea can do. And Valencia, he was good. I liked him. He was a good player, but he's past it now. We need to replace him. Dalot might be an option in the future, but he might even have a chance in the Champions League this year. But with that defense leaking, it's been so bad. Sometimes it's like watching little kids defending. But here's a positive spin on this. I mean, the defense wins you titles. I don't think we're winning the Premier League, but attacks win you cups. And Mourinho went full tilt against Spurs this weekend, and basically it almost worked. The result didn't go to plan, but if Lukaku doesn't miss an open goal, I mean, how can you plan for that? But if he just scores, there are so many chances. One of them goes in, and then we're in Mourinho territory where he just shuts shop and just drives home grinds home the victory. And so there's definitely a chance for United, provided we, in the Champions League, we just go for it. Just go attack, play some wonderful attacking football. We've got the players for it. And who knows, it might work. Liverpool won in 2005 doing that. They almost won it last year doing that. Why can't we do it? And so, who'd I want in the draw? I guess for Pool 1, Lokomotiv Moscow is the easiest team. They are the worst team according to coefficients in the entire tournament, but they're in Pool 1. Again, of course, it's a thing like traveling to Moscow, harsh conditions, might be in winter. So it's not the best, but it's the easiest game. Then I would either pick one of PSG or Juventus. I know Juventus is one of the favorites, but I still feel like Jose has got a chance to break them down more than he has a chance of breaking down a team like Barcelona or Madrid. And it'll also be a cool game. I mean, CR7 comes back, Pogba goes back. There's all these stories. If Mourinho gets sacked, which it's definitely a possibility, Zidane's considered the favorite. So imagine Zidane going back to Juventus. Could be a very interesting, some interesting stories coming up there. And also PSG would be interesting because I don't think PSG's got it. They don't have the bottle. I mean, we're just gonna stick like Herrera on Neymar. He's gonna shut him down, and then they've got nothing else. Okay, Mbappe is good, but one man against a pretty shit defense, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. There are no winners here. Like every team is difficult, and I would pick PSG and Juventus over the others. Pool 3, again, no easy fixtures. Eindhoven or Valencia would be cool. They play some nice attacking football. They'd be difficult. Valencia's on a bit of a resurgence. Eindhoven have historically been a bit tricky. We played them a couple years back, didn't win. But my choice would be Lyon. Primarily because they're close to me, and it's going to be easier to possibly go and see them. And it would also be nice to see a bit like how Memphis is going, see Memphis flair, maybe he can do something in the game that convinces Jose to bring him back. But honesty, the best would be reading with Raphael. I've said it before in this video itself. Raphael, best player I've seen in a while. Well, okay, best player is wrong. They're better players than him. But he's my favorite. I mean, he has he has the drive, he has the passion. He gives it all for the team. And if only we could get him back right now. I mean, Louis van Gaal, you idiot. He sold Raphael and kept Valencia. What's going on there, man? But yeah. Pool 4. Only one option here. It's the Young Boys of Bern. The funniest named team in the tournament. And also the easiest draw. Not only is it light on like travel and things like that. I mean, there might be some easier teams, but then if you go to Galatasaray and all these long distance fights and stuff. And for some reason, I don't know, it shouldn't make a difference, but apparently it does because historically, whenever teams travel far, they don't do so well in the next game afterwards. So Young Boys of Berlin would be the best, I think. And also they're near me, so maybe I can go see them. But let's see how it goes. I might do another review once the groups are formed. I don't know. Uh, Depends on how much time I have, but definitely more videos will come this season. Out of here now. I don't know. Put an ending here.